Well, howdy out there, friends and neighbors. I'm back from the Great White North, and I rested up a little bit, but I decided I'm going to go ahead and clue you guys in on what's happened this last couple of weeks. I've written several articles, and Ted's putting another one together, but I wanted to let y'all know, and I especially wanted to share this with some friends of mine over on one of the parents' sites where they're fighting the people that try to kidnap kids, and let them know what happened and how we did what we did. The case against my family was started by two little girls talking in a schoolyard. Little girl up in Brigham City, and my granddaughter Puck, as you know. There we go. There I am. And my little granddaughter Puck got to swapping lies out in the schoolyard. And it ended up going to the little girl went to the teacher, and she started all this stuff about how bad Puck was being treated, because the little girl said, well, my daddy whips me with a belt, and Puck would say, well, my mama whips me with a switch, and the little girl said, well, my daddy beats me with a boot, and Puck would say, well, my mama hits me with a big stick, and eventually ended up in the office, where it incurred the wrath of, or the interest of one Mr. Johnson, who's the principal up there at the school. Now, Mr. Johnson has the propensity of calling CPS every opportunity he gets. And he called him again on this. During the discussion in the schoolyard, Puck kind of told her little friend, now, if I don't show up for school, come look for my body in the closet, because Mama has killed me. Now, we're talking two 10-year-old little girls here swapping lies, okay? Nobody's getting killed. Well, anyway, here come two CPS workers and a detective, Mr. Roy Pyatt. That's P-Y-A-T-T. Ace homicide detective for Brigham City, USA. They ain't got no homicides in Brigham City. Anyway, he brings a blue light out, like I've said many times before, and he goes searching for brain matter and sperm in the closet, bodies and all that kind of stuff. He didn't find any. Then we got this, what they call a petition. Now, let me explain to you what's really happened here. Here's the way Utah law works. Once the little girls say, I think something bad happened, from that point to losing your kids is almost a freeway. They don't have to have any other proof. They write a petition up. We're going to talk about more about that in a little bit. It's even funnier than you know. And they embark on a huge investigation. Now, we had a lawyer, Mr. John Webster, who I want y'all to write, the people in Utah up in that region, write that name down, John Webster, and if you ever have trouble with these people, you call him, okay? And he was part of the organization. His whole legal career was just plead no contest or guilty, and they'll just beat you up a little bit, and then they'll turn you loose. But we weren't going to do that, because out of 9 pages of a petition, there wasn't one shred of evidence that anything had happened. And they started calling up, hey, Ryan. Anyway, I'm back. I'm on LTE today, so if I drop out every now and then, don't leave. I'll be back. Anyway, this petition in particular, by the way, was the most convoluted, ignorant piece of work I've ever seen in my life. Now, there was a little bit of racial prejudice going on in Brigham City. It was enlightened to us by our attorney that those people up there thought that we were a bunch of ignorant hillbillies, which basically we are, but we're not as ignorant as they are. They completely not only ignored the United States Constitution, they ignored their own code that they had written in Salt Lake. They ignored everything. And their answer was, well, this is the way we always do it. Just plead guilty and we'll only hurt you a little bit. And we might not take your kids, but that's not a promise. You know, we might take your kids anyway. So what it boiled down to, make a long story short, they called up the day before we left, and he threatened my wife, Pamela. They said, well, you know, we can take those kids anytime we want. You know, you're already guilty. See, they had a little meeting in the coffee shop. They don't drink coffee, they're Mormons, but whatever. Little donut shop in the CPS office. They had a meeting, and they actually held a trial without Pam being notified, without her being able to put up any kind of defense, and they pronounced her guilty. Well, at that moment, they own the kids. Okay. So what we said, well, we want to go to trial. We want to go before the judge. And at first, they thought we were bluffing. We went through 2 mediations, where they agreed they didn't want to file any criminal charges. But that's about as far as they go. Just plead no contest. Everything's going to be fine. So no, we're going to go to the judge. So the day before we were supposed to get in the chute to do this, a caseworker called and said, well, we can show up and take them kids anytime we want. You already lost. And so Pam said, well, I'll pack them up, come get them. We're gonna go before that judge, and then Ted let them know through connections. That petition you wrote, and it's got statements in it like, we were looking at the closet at the complaint of the children on the paper. That's the kind of stuff we were looking at. Okay, and Alex Horn, the lady Alex Horn, I'm gonna paraphrase this, but she certified this mess with I claim under the penalty of perjury that I believe this to be true, even the stuff that's not true I believe to be true. Signed, Alex Horn. Yeah, that's the kind of people we were up against. But once we let them know, well, we're going to trial, we're just going to go to court, and since we didn't have a successful mediation, we're going to have the court clerk read your entire petition to his honor in all its glory. That was written up by a high school graduate with 2 weeks of training. Yeah. Okay. We didn't look like hillbillies that much anymore. At any rate, we all showed up in court. Everything. The Attorney General's assistant. Yeah, they brought that in. Yeah. A couple of CPS workers and the D-Litem, ad-litem, whatever she was, all showed up. The judge said, are you prepared? Blah, blah, blah. And the Attorney General stood up and said, no, I think we're just going to let this thing go. And so he systematically dismissed all 5 cases. Pam agreed to take classes, which she takes classes all the time anyway. She's already taken the classes at her own expense. Puck, she's out of state. She's back down in Texas at a retreat down here trying to get her mind right and everything. So you can't touch her, can't touch the kids, can't touch the boys, can't do nothing. And for the first time, somebody beat their system. Okay? This organization had been trolling for children for years. People were afraid, actually afraid, to let their children play outside because of the trolling. Because you let your children play outside and you got a pretty little girl, well, old Johnson called her into the office and he browbeat her until she admitted their daddy beat her, mama beat her, dog beat her, something happened, Then here comes CPS, with a foster parent in tow. Yeah, but they lost. And they lost bad. So, it's not going to be a real long video. It's really not. But, yeah, Sharon, she's about 15 miles south of you right now. Down there eating, she's about to eat supper here in a little bit. She's down there in San Marcos. And she's safe. She is safe. Anyway, I'm not going to make this a long video because I'm still working on the particulars. I'm supposed to go back up there. I'm not going to let Principal Johnson go because he's got a real good little racket going, and it always seems to concern little girls. I wouldn't know why, but Lindsay Park and other things like that. And the whole thing is in the street now. Number one, the people of the neighborhood and indeed of the town are now looking that they have been beat. And they got beat bad. Okay? We're not going to let it go. I'm resting up, as you can tell. I got a beer going, got some cigarettes going. It's warm down here in Texas. I don't know why I'm still wearing this coat. I just got so used to wearing it up there. I'm still wearing it. I don't need it right now. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to jump back on and fight this and everything. And there is hope. There is hope. I've received a lot of support from people down here. It looked dark for a while. These people are totally lawless. They do what they want to do. They'll just take your kids. They'll do whatever the hell they want to do. We held him up before the ombudsman in Salt Lake City, before the auditor general in Salt Lake City. It profoundly embarrassed the attorney general's office and everything, the way it was handled. And I think things are about to change. I really think things are about to change. So I'm going to cut this short. I'm not going to bore you all to tears. I just want to let you all know I'm alive and I'm all right. And I'm cooking a roast and some navy beans and everything. And I'm going to sit here and enjoy the afternoon on Sunday. Y'all pass this around, especially to the mothers and people fighting protective services in various states. And I'm still here, and I'm still building.
Get your phone out of my face!